Thank you all for joining. Really appreciate everyone being here today. And we got a great lineup, great agenda for the day. We're going to just one item of note, maybe one logistical item. We're going to be taking Q&A during the session, especially at the end. We've got Justin doing a live Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. So definitely encourage you to use the Q&A functionality within Zoom to ask your questions. We will address them live. So please go ahead and ask your questions there in the Q&A piece. My name is Mike Anastasiades. I am a legal industry director here at HIKE2. Prior to HIKE2, I was a solutions vice president at Salesforce for about 10 years or so. In the last couple of years at Salesforce, really helping to build out the legal industry vertical there. And prior to Salesforce, worked at a law firm in Boston, Massachusetts for about 6 years. I'm really excited to co-present today with Justin, and I'm going to verbally pass it over to Justin for his introduction.
Hi, everyone. Justin Parsons from Erickson Immigration Group. One of the shareholders of the firm. I'll talk a little bit about the firm as we go along and then our journey with the Salesforce platform. So be happy to be with you guys today, and hopefully it's an entertaining 25 to 30 minutes.
Entertaining, fun, and exciting. We are ready to go. Couldn't agree more. Here's your fabulous agenda. I'll start off talking a little bit about what HIKE2 can do in terms of legal transformation, how we're helping our clients every day. Also want to get into some of what the Salesforce solution can do for law firms, and a little bit about how Salesforce can help firms save money, execute better, gain more clients, retain clients. So we'll talk about that. Justin will talk a little bit about his journey and his firm's journey, his technical journey with Salesforce. And then lastly, again, sort of maybe the highlight. There'll be many highlights, but one of the highlights of the session today will be the Q&A with Justin at the end. HIKE2 provides, we are a Salesforce partner. We provide advisory services and solutions with a focus in legal. Our clients are law firms, corporate legal organizations, public sector agencies. We help organizations, we help firms that are looking to digitally transform, really to make the most of their technical investment by taking a collaborative and agile approach to solving their business challenges. And as you see with the slide, we lead with a human-centered design approach that considers, how their problems are ever-changing, interconnected. We focus on ease of learning, creating better experiences, fostering engagement, strengthening connections between people, companies, and communities over time. We have several legal clients today, with Erickson Immigration Group really at the forefront of what our law firm clients are doing from an innovation perspective. And our role really at HIKE2 is to provide direction, provide guidance. We're sort of first and foremost advisors. We provide advisory guidance, of course, hands to keyboard and implementation, absolutely positively. As I pick off different components of this slide here, we've been doing a lot of data strategy with our clients. So pulling all the data together, helping our clients make the most sense of it. Let's see, bottom middle, you see change management. Change management is a key part of our offering. That's think change readiness assessment. Working with our clients to develop a change management strategy within their firms, providing guidance on change communication, and then managed services down at the bottom right hand corner. Another key piece of this, and so we do Salesforce administration work for our clients. And that's sort of the typical work that maybe you'd anticipate: creating reports, creating dashboards, and many other admin tasks necessary to keep Salesforce running smoothly at your firms and at your law offices. And HIKE2 we're a Salesforce partner, and we work really closely with the Salesforce team, helping law firms, helping legal institutions to solve their biggest challenges. And as we look at the potential value that Salesforce can bring to law firms, superior client experience is one of the differentiators, and Salesforce can certainly help. Salesforce can help law firms manage their client relationships by centralizing the storing and tracking of client information. From a marketing perspective, Salesforce can help by creating targeted campaigns that reach the proper audience, automating routine tasks, sending follow-up emails, scheduling appointments. All this can be done with the Salesforce platform. And I talk to 3 or 4 law firms every week, maybe more in my current role. And when I talk to the firms, I typically hear about manual processes still in place today. Integrating these systems can be difficult, can be time consuming. Reporting is happening, and sometimes in Excel, sometimes data quality maybe is an issue. IT costs are high. There might be legacy systems in place today, and the systems aren't necessarily connected to one another, which leads to redundancies, redundant work, redundant data entry. Single view of the client sometimes, so firms need to access multiple systems to see how much a client owes on their bills, or what matters are in place today, and whether or not someone at the firm has actually reached out to the client in the last month or so. And this of course affects the attorneys. Attorneys need to go to multiple places to make sure they are up to date. Client visibility can be impacted. And some attorneys, that I talk to, and firms I talk to, some of the attorneys still aren't able to conduct their business from their iPhones. And of course, that affects how attorneys prepare for meetings. And these are all places where Salesforce can help. Client management, front marketing automation, workflow automation, analytics, collaboration. These are all, and then some, places where Salesforce can help law firms succeed today, and do help law firms and other companies succeed today. That the platform, the Salesforce platform, and HIKE2 can really help deliver that superior client experience, to your clients, reduce costs, make your associates, make your partners much more productive. And to talk a little bit more about how Erickson Immigration Group does this, I'm going to welcome Justin back to the stage to talk about how his firm innovates with the Salesforce platform. Justin, take it away.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the firm, a little bit about our journey, how we ended up on the Salesforce platform, show you some wireframes, and then show you kind of what the implementation has done for our clients and then for the firm. So, and then I think we're going to get to the Q&A. So our firm originally was founded in 1978 in Northern Virginia. It was a litigation firm, kind of a general practice firm. And then the CEO, our former CEO who started the immigration practice, started it in 1998, kind of with the idea of innovation in mind. I think he started the immigration practice because he was reading an article about the best legal website in the US, and it was an immigration practice. So he started kind of digging in, and that's kind of where it went from there. So I joined the firm in 2010. I think we were 5 attorneys, and now we're over 65 attorneys. We're solely focused on corporate global business immigration. So we, in a nutshell, we get folks visas and green cards to come to the US. We work directly with companies. They hire us to get visas and green cards for their employees. And then we also do outbound US as well. So we do immigration in over 110 countries around the world. Currently 270 employees worldwide. We're headquartered in Arlington. I was just talking with Mike about this. We're just a few miles from DC. We have a view of the Capitol. We have an office in San Francisco, Singapore, Melbourne, and then we have immigration professionals in Mexico City, Toronto, Spain, London, Dublin, Poland, Germany, and Indonesia currently. And kind of what we're known for in the industry is our commitment to service. That's what has really kind of spurred the growth over all these years is the better client service that we provide, not only the foreign nationals, but also the corporates that we work with. Our innovation, which I'll talk a little bit about, our focus on DEI, and our overall firm culture we were just actually awarded one of Washington Post's top workplaces for 2023, which is something that is pretty integral to who we are and proud of it as an organization. So our tech journey, like I mentioned, I joined the firm in 2010. I've been practicing for about 18 years. We were on a legacy case management system for about 12 years. Immigration, there were only kind of a few players in the case management form generation system. So, we started kind of exploring our options in 2014. Like I said, we were really known for our customer experience and how we, interact with foreign nationals and corporates. And what we wanted was a tech solution that matched our service to make it, we wanted a tech experience to be remarkable. And we just overall wanted a better experience for our clients. I think the interaction in terms of access to data and overall experience for the foreign nationals going through the process, from case initiation to where their case was to when it was approved, we just wanted to match something that was similar to, the apps and the technology that folks use in their daily lives, whether it was technology similar to Amazon or Facebook, or that's kind of the expectation. So we went through an exercise in 2014. That's really kind of when our journey began, where we started exploring kind of everything in the marketplace. We hired an organization to kind of look at the options to do, how much it would cost, what it would take to do a proprietary build to match our business processes. But what we decided was ultimately we didn't want to go proprietary because, we'd have to be building from the ground up. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel in terms of all the workflows, the processes. We also realized that it wasn't cost effective, that we would have to maintain a large technology staff to maintain the system. And we were also kind of concerned about, the rapidly changing world of tech. What if we created something in 2016 and then it wasn't going to be innovative or relevant in 2020? So these are all the things we were thinking about. So fast forward to 2020, we began our Salesforce development. We decided to go down this path. And what I would say is we looked at a couple options. One is that we could have built directly on Salesforce starting at ground zero, or you can start at, you can work with various companies that have kind of an out-of-the-box legal product. So we started working with one of the legal solutions that are out there. There's a couple that are out there on the market. The solution that we started working with was really focused more on litigation in terms of assessments, in terms of billing and all that. So there wasn't a product on the market that focused on immigration. So we started developing our own business processes. And what I would say is it took really, the entire firm over the course of about 2 to 2.5 years to develop the processes, to develop the concepts for the form generations. There are over, I think, between 250 to 300 forms to be generated for at least U.S. immigration. And all of the business processes, we looped in paralegals, we looped in associates, attorneys, all types of folks within the organization to develop currently what we implemented. And then in January of 2022, and I would preface this by, we call our platform Aurora, and it encompasses many different technologies within the platform, and our Salesforce component is one of those components. So we went really live with our Aurora platform and Salesforce with our clients starting in January 2022, and then within about 5 to 6 months, we converted all of the clients over to the Salesforce platform off of the legacy platform. So that was a big deal for us. And what you get is, next slide, is kind of the wireframes of what we ended up with. A large component is, it's a couple of components to it. One is, and we built these portals on the Experience Cloud. One is the portal for the corporates. So, a company wants to engage with us to do the visas for, all their employees, whether it's in the US or globally, they will log into a portal where they will be able to see all the foreign nationals in the US and then abroad who have visas or work permits. They'll be able to see pertinent data to those individuals, and you can kind of see that both on the left and the right in terms of the dashboards that we came up with. And then there's also a Tableau component of this as well, to where the corporate users can log in and they can see overall heat maps of where the visa holders, the work permit holders are in the US and the world. They can see assessments, they can see initiations, they can see spend. There's all these different data components that they're able to view, and then they're able to see individuals. And I'm not kind of doing this justice in terms of all the data points that they can see, but job descriptions, expiration dates, anything that they need to essentially manage their program. And then the foreign nationals, the individuals who require the visas and work permits, are able to log into their system as well. They're able to upload their documents, complete questionnaires, view kind of the chevron that you can see in terms of where their case is at, who's assigned to it, where the paralegal and the attorney team are drafting. Are they gathering the documents? Is it in the review stage? Is it in the signature document stage? Has it been filed? So the individual is able to follow along. One of the things that Mike mentioned is that we've actually been able to, through the platform, cadence and automate a lot of the workflows. And one of the biggest things that we've been able to do, and pretty quickly, I would say, is just the overall automation to let folks know where they're at in their process. So when a case is initiated, they'll receive an automated email when certain key milestones are reached. The foreign nationals are able to see, EIG just completed this step. The next step is coming up. It's going to take, X amount of time. And really, kind of the model that we tried to use is very simply, I think most folks are getting accustomed to when they do online shopping, when an item is ordered, when it's picked, when it's being shipped. That's really kind of the overall expectation I think that folks have, and it's very similar to the overall visa and green card process that we see internally. So that's really kind of what we really wanted to model our Salesforce system after. And then I think just talking about what our experience has been since we the over 2.5 years that we've really started working with Salesforce. Like I said, it was a bit of time for us to develop our business processes, and that had nothing to do with kind of the agility of the platform, but our overall timeline in terms of how long it took us to kind of put everything pen to paper and get the processes up and running. I would say that not only the customers have been quick to adapt and adopt to the new system, the portals that we've been using, I think folks are able to log in, understand it, navigate the system really easily. I think that's kind of one of the biggest things that I was surprised by the system, which was how little training that we had to provide to our corporate clients, our foreign nationals, and our internal employees in terms of how to use the system. Our last legacy system, I think there was like a 40-page manual in terms of how to navigate and use it, and nobody could figure out, so they just never went in. And just to kind of give you a ballpark in terms of the numbers, at least on the foreign national side, I think we look at anywhere from 6,000, 8,000 logins per month. So it's a lot of volume for the folks who log into the systems. And I would just say, I monitor, at least for my clients, the help desk tickets, and we get very few of them in terms of can't figure out where the documents are or can't understand the system. It's very few and far between. So I think that the system has been exceptionally intuitive for not only the foreign nationals, but also the corporates who can log in and they can see, the data on their programs, or they can pull reports. They can kind of, use the system however they want it. And then over the past year, I would say, because Salesforce is low code, I've been really surprised and how quick kind of the development features have been. We've rolled out some pretty major initiatives and projects in the past 12 months. A lot of automations that have increased efficiencies, a lot of kind of user experience features that have been better for foreign nationals and corporate users. The biggest features that we're rolling out now are the ability for folks to log in and review, maybe a 25-page application, make comments on it, sign electronically the application, and to really limit the scope of the world so we're not sending PII documents all over. So it's really acted as a controlled universe for everyone, just to protect documents in PII. So I've been really, really surprised about how quickly EIG and our partners at HIKE2 have been able to really innovate over the past 12 months. We've, it's a lot of major projects that clients have asked us to do. I would say because of the ease of the system and the automation that we've been able to do, along with the integrations, which is a part of Salesforce as well, the data is cleaner. We have a lot of APIs with clients with their various systems, whether that's HRIS systems. So the data is moving faster between both systems with our clients. The data is cleaner. The ability to make sure that the data is up to date, and overall reporting is just faster. So, with our old system, we would have to do data into a data warehouse and then integrations into the platform. And then, we've been essentially able to cut out that piece and make overall the process streamlined. The big thing I would say is, and I'm trying to be mindful of time, is that law firms are typically not, because it's a lot of law firms do billable hours, they're not looking for efficiencies. And I think that's where immigration is a little bit different. A lot of what we do is flat fee. So we're always looking for efficiencies, not only with, the user experience, but also with, internally. How can we eliminate rote tasks, eliminate things that maybe automation or AI can do, and really have the staff focus more time on things like communications with the client, consulting with foreign nationals or corporate clients, and then ultimately reviewing, the quality of the work, whether it's, a lot of these immigration forms, like I said, there's 25 pages. They may have, 350 portions where data has to be entered into, and at the end of the day, these are people's lives. And, anyone who's ever worked with an accountant or maybe, engage an attorney, and you send them information, and you get something back and it has errors on it. That's kind of the experience that folks are concerned about is EIG handling my data properly? Is it accurate in these applications? So I would say the overall efficiencies and automations that Salesforce has allowed the team to do allow us more time on quality control and overall communications with the foreign nationals. The last things I would say before we get into the Q&A is I think the visualizations with Tableau and then the overall visualizations within Salesforce have been extremely useful to corporate clients, just so they can see a 35,000-foot overview of their program. We may deal with somebody who doesn't deal with immigration 100% of the time. They just want to look at the visuals before they go into a meeting with C-level and be able to say, we have 100% approval rate, we have 2% RFE rates, et cetera. So I think that's been exceptionally useful. And I would say, and it's not a platitude when I say this, that the platform has really transformed our business, I think, not only with efficiencies and just changing the way that folks, the paralegals, the attorneys work. It has freed up their time in terms of how long things take. But also, I think overall, what we've noticed, and we do surveys with everyone, whether it's with foreign nationals, corporate clients, recruiters, we've seen our survey results go up, and I think that's because of the ease of the platform, the greater communication, the automated touch points that we've been able to add to the system, which Mike talked about. These are all things that have just created greater transparency in the process. So yeah, it's not a platitude. I would say any firm that is considering, looking at the Salesforce platform, I would say that at the end of the day, what you're going to end up with is something, as long as you do it right, something that's going to create transparency and better efficiencies and improved experience with your clients. With that said, I'll turn it back to Mike.
That's great. No, that was perfect, Justin, and great conclusion, and love to hear just how much Salesforce, HIKE2 and Erickson working together, and how much it's really benefited your firm. So looks like we actually everyone, let me back up a moment here and just ask again, if you do have any questions, please put them in the Q&A portion of Zoom. We do have a question right off the bat, Justin, and so I have a few questions too. Let's see what we got here in the Q&A. I want to ask this live question. This is from Ariana. Ariana asks, sounds like Salesforce has been helpful in managing your client relationships. Has the software helped your firm acquire new clients, Justin? And she'd love to hear some insights on that, if possible.
Yeah, I mean, there is the ability for Salesforce to manage leads, and that is something that we also rely on. So it's been, I think as an organization, I think I think it's been able to better organize how we manage leads, RFPs, the ability to touch in with clients. And then I'd also say that just, some of the feedback that we've gotten in in RFPs really over the past, 9 months is that, and again, this is not a platitude, but when we've demoed the platform to folks, and we're talking about some pretty large clients, large technology clients, just some of the feedback that we've gotten is that it is some of the best technology from an immigration standpoint that they've seen that's out there. So we've kind of gone from something that we've worried about as an organization, are we going to be able to keep up, to where we're having Fortune 100 companies tell us this is the best in the market that they've seen.
And one more from Ariana, if it's okay, and I can maybe even jump in on this one too, but Ariana asks, we pride ourselves on maintaining satisfied clients. How has Salesforce enhanced client relationship management to ensure client satisfaction?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, some of the points that I touched upon, which is just the overall, in our field, it's kind of the main things are, data is obviously important. We deal with thousands and thousands of data points for our clients and the foreign nationals and the corporate clients. So I think it's about the ability to provide reports, data visualizations, which is, something that Tableau is great for. And then, I think one of the biggest things is, the communication, which is key to our organization and what we view as really kind of one of the most important things. So communication with, not only the foreign nationals at all of the various touch points in a visa or green card process or work permit process, which Salesforce does with automations, but also with corporate clients as well. So.
And I might even just add to some of that too, just firms that I work with, the business to business marketing automation firms marketing to other companies to really try and grow their client portfolio, try to grow their business. It's a component of the solution really meant to connect all types of people within firms, within clients, within potential clients. The handoff between marketing and business development teams. The business development team can look at a contact and create a campaign and put that contact into a different nurture program, and And then, maybe you want to follow up with some pre-created email or some thought leadership info from an article from JD Supra or something. So a lot of different, I guess, a lot of different ways to go about doing it. But thank you, Ariana. If anyone else has any questions, please throw them into the Q&A. And Justin, I might just jump around a little bit and ask you, where do you see Erickson Immigration Group going in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. So, I think the biggest thing for us is, we want to be the most, forward-thinking immigration and innovative immigration firm out there. And I think technology is a component of that. It's kind of not all of it, but it's a large component of that. So I think what's key for us is, with kind of the tools and the personnel and the great people that we have, we're going to grow. We're going to continue to, provide excellent services and kind of expand not only in the US, but also globally. But the key thing is just, maintaining that, the quality. What we don't want to do is obviously, grow and then dilute and lose kind of what we actually are and what's got us here. So for us, it's just, continuing to improve, to get better, maintain the kind of the gold standard, which folks say that we have in the industry. And, I think that's the goal is just continue to innovate and get better.
Elizabeth Gilbert asked a question. It's maybe similar to what you just answered, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you can elaborate. So Elizabeth's question is, are you using Salesforce to drive internal sustainable improvement?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, so we have immigration is a lot of the processes, at least in the US for now, and abroad, some of them are you can log into a portal and you can file applications electronically. But in the US for now, the application process is paper driven. So a lot of what we do internally is trying to find efficiencies and innovation where individuals can, with the least amount of pain, kind of uploading complete documents, and then applications can be generated and collated by the legal and paralegal team. So it's all about kind of, what can we do? How can we leverage Salesforce to, to input the data into these government forms, to catch errors, to collate applications. Some of these applications, like I said, are very long and very cumbersome. So part of what we also do is we have automations that assemble supporting docs for applications, and these are all things that that we're constantly reviewing. How, if it's going to take 15 minutes to put together an application, how can we make it faster using technology in a way that catches everything? And I would say we're at such an exciting time with technology, with all the everything that's going on, and I think Salesforce being kind of at the forefront of that. I honestly feel that where we are from a technology standpoint versus a law firm that's maybe much larger than us, that we're on kind of the same footing due to the tools that we have. It's just an overall very exciting time. Everyone's kind of on a level playing field. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what happens the next few years.
That's a cool way of framing it. Really is. Amber, we had another question. It's a question around digital transformation. And Amber's question is, what really helped drive your digital transformation strategy to your internal team adopting the new technology, especially being that you had been on a legacy system for so long?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to answer that question as I understand it. What I would say is, kind of to what I mentioned before. We had provided enablement to the staff, and it's change management for over 250 individuals. So it was getting them used to, utilizing the new system, And I would say what we did in advance of that is we invested in subject matter experts within the firm. So we had, not only our CTO Sanjay, but also other folks who came down and hung out in the office and just kind of made sure that everyone got it. And then we had kind of lingering subject matter experts on the system, really for like 6 to 9 months to provide training. But I would say that the transformation was, I think it took people probably about 2 to 3 weeks to really like jump into the system. But once they were in the system, it was pretty clean, I would say, pretty easy for folks to use.
Excellent. And maybe I'll ask you one more question if it's okay, Justin.
Yeah.
And it's around the topic that so many people that I talk to in the legal industry is wondering about. That's artificial intelligence and chat GPT. So the question is, has your firm started to consider the role of AI, chat GPT, and what role that'll play with your clients?
Yeah. So I think a couple of things. One is that I think it's important. We've definitely, our CTO has been, kind of into it, looking closely at it since the beginning of the year. I think a lot of it, what it can do is, it can generate, statements, or at least in our field, potentially support letters and various things for visa applications. So we don't allow that internally yet, just because I think based upon some of the the beta research that we've done and kind of testing it out, there's some major concerns with it so far. And then I think a lot of what we see in immigration is the ability for chat GPT to summarize articles that are out there. And I think there was an article recently where a non-immigration attorney had used chat GPT and it went awry, and it started summarizing cases that didn't exist, or things incorrectly. So I think it's important that and this was something that was brought up at a conference that I virtually attended last week, and I had a colleague point out, I think it's important at this juncture to really have rules within organizations in terms of the usage, guardrails, guidelines in terms of your ability to use it. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to have paralegals or attorneys, here's a brief and they're gonna write half of it with chat GPT. There has to be organizational guidelines to that. But what we have used AI in terms of, we've used it for other various functions and efficiencies within the organization. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I would say that there's a lot of usages right now in terms of cumbersome, workflows within immigration that I think AI can really streamline and make things a lot more efficient and fast. But as far as I think writing petitions or stuff like that, I think we're still a bit of ways, and I think there's ethical issues. I think to the extent that you can streamline workflows and then also use AI as a function to catch human errors, I think that's probably where we're headed more, and focus as an organization more so than having chat GPT write an O1 support letter. I think we're still a bit of ways from that. So
all right, well, and there's one more question out there, and I can handle this one. It's around HIKE2 migrating data from one system and building out the Salesforce platform. And so to answer the question, it can be both. It could be all of this. So certainly HIKE2 is able to migrate that data to the Salesforce platform, and then from there, what we will do with our clients is integrate the Salesforce platform into other key systems. So oftentimes Adorant is probably a good example. As I manage, there's lots of examples of solutions that firms use that we help integrate Salesforce into. So that's something that we absolutely do, that we can handle. If that's something that you as a law firm would like to sort of do a little bit on your own, we can train you to do that. But the key is we'll work with you on that and come up with a plan and come up with a way to sort of help you best do that according to what you have in-house today. Some teams have lots of really good technical people in-house. Some firms do not, and so we can help you certainly assess that. So thank you to everyone here for joining. Hopefully you heard the messaging kind of loud and clear. Whether it's client management, marketing automation. Justin talked a lot about workflows, collaboration, analytics. Salesforce and HIKE2 certainly can help your firms with all of these, and Erickson Immigration Group really is just a fabulous example of that, and all the great talking points that Justin gave today around innovation and ease of use. So an enormous thanks to Justin. An enormous thanks to all of you out there for joining today, and we will continue these webinars. This is an ongoing series. We'll make sure you all get an invite to the next one. Thank you all for joining, and hope you have a great rest of the day.